This is Ravens Flock Talk Podcast, coming to you every week with their thoughts and opinions on each and every Ravens game. Tune in weekly and join the flock.
This is Ravens Flock Talk. I am your host, Brandon, and my dad joins me as my other host. And another season of Ravens Flock Talk, another Ravens season kicking off. And they're already touting this as the best game of the year, potentially, because of how back and forth it was. And the Ravens crumbled, as we have come accustomed to knowing.
Yeah, we've seen this in the past, coming out strong and ending up weak. But happy for the 2025 season, 2025-2026, because I say 2026 because we're going to be in there in that particular time, I hope. So, it's so exciting to have opening day. Everybody's excited, and I totally agree with you about there were so many premier games on opening day, more than usual, but this one surpassed it all. And I'm sure if we look back at the ratings, this will be the number one rated show. So, however, just disappointed. Got to say it right off the bat, but it was an exciting game.
Yeah, very exciting. It's just there's so many things that happened this game that we could talk forever, right? Yeah. And we don't even want to do that, and relive this experience. But to me, the main thing I want to highlight right off the bat of this episode is it's 4th and 3, right? Mm-hmm. This is after Derek fumbled. I honestly thought, okay, Buffalo's going to get this 2-point conversion and tie this game up. This is how the game's going to go. And somehow Nate Wiggins prevented Keon Coleman catching that ball in the corner. Yeah. So, okay, at that point, I'm saying the ball's still in our hands to dictate how this game goes, right? The first play, Derrick Henry, okay, 1 yard, 2nd and 9. Then I'm thinking, okay, this is going to go to Lamar then, right? It's going to either be Derek, Lamar, or Derek, something, until we get that first down and ice the game.
Exactly.
And that end around to Zay, the cute calls that we like to say with Todd when it matters most.
Yep.
A wasted play. Mm-hmm. And he throws it to Hopkins. Hopkins couldn't run past the sticks. You would like to see the pass beyond the sticks. Right. But it's 4th and 3. You have Derek. You have what should be a 3-time MVP in Lamar. Mark Andrews, Zay. You have all these guys. You built this team around Lamar, right?
Yep.
To me, that tells me my head coach is not. We're an offensive team now. Let's just face it. After they put up 41 points on us, 0 takeaways, they could do whatever. Mm-hmm. As soon as we punted the ball, to me, we lost the game. Yeah. We just forfeited the game at that point. You had to go out guns blazing after you already blew it. You still had the chance to dictate how you want to end this game, and we gave it away. And that was a foregone conclusion at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. The Bills were being aggressive. They had 2-point conversions and busted both of them up. My thing with the Ravens is fundamentals, Brandon. Just fundamentals the whole entire game. That's the kind of the recap I wanted to emphasize as we go through this game. But once again, I just feel like in critical moments, the coaching and the preparation of these players, especially the young players, could be so much better. In key situations, at the end of the fourth quarter, trying to bring it down, the Bills trying to bring it down, and we said, okay, there can't be any passes, there's no timeouts in the middle. All you got to do is protect the sideline. And they did, but they let the guy go out of bounds instead of being in the position to keep him in or hold him up. Those are if he was able, and that's the at the end of the first half, and they end up with a 1 second and get a field goal off of the one, and that changed the complexion of the game. Even though we got the ball out of halftime, that really to me changed the scope. But it did and it didn't, but those kind of plays at the end of the halves, and Brandon, you always say we don't close the end of the half out very well, and that was just another example of it.
Yeah, whether it's time management or somebody has to make a play, everything will go perfectly according to plan, and then in the half we crumble, and even though we're up, it's almost like we lost momentum, because if you think before that, we're trotting down the field, and we give it to Justice Hill after Derek is in rhythm, and he fumbles the ball, and that was what, a 10-yard loss?
Exactly.
10 to 15-yard loss. It changed everything, and then we run it again, and at that point, that told me they're settling for the field goal.
Right.
The first run after the fumble was for them to burn the final timeout. Okay, but I knew they weren't going to chuck it down the field and risk turning it over, so they ran again for, it might have been a loss, I can't really recall, and then we settled for the field goal.
Right.
And so I'm going out, it was like, I think they had like 23 seconds, maybe even 30 left, 0 timeouts, and we let them trot down the field and kick the field goal.
Yeah.
It's just unacceptable. That should have been, if we stuck to what was working and not put in Justice Hill, and not to bag on Justice Hill, but he's not a running back that is consistent enough to hand it off in the backfield. He's the best catching it in the backfield. That's just what he is. And so I didn't like that, and it changed the momentum of that drive. We score that drive, it's 24-10 going into halftime, and you get the ball out of half.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're Ravens fans, and no lead is safe with this team. So would it even have mattered? I don't know.
That's a good point, and it's so funny when you're watching the Ravens. No matter what the lead is, if the other team gets any kind of momentum, now you're sweating bullets. We just cannot put the dagger in these teams when we have it. And by I would say the beginning of the fourth quarter toward the middle, I mean, we had this game won. Even the commentator said it's over, right? But as fans, Ravens, if you know them, you were like, wait a second.
After the last Derrick Henry touchdown, I'm thinking it's over.
Yeah, it's over. But then again, when they came back and they got a touchdown, then you say, okay, we've got to score touchdowns and not field goals. And then we have to have good time management and good play calling, right? Sounds pretty simple or basic.
And we
did.
did.
But we don't.
We did, but that there was that end around with Zay. I just don't understand. But it feels like we choke up, we tense up when it matters most, when the game is tight. And even when it's not tight, It just, to me, it's mind-boggling, and the common denominator is always John. I mean, I saw a graphic, and hopefully I'm reiterating this correctly. Since 91, no, not 91, but the Ravens have like 17 blown fourth quarters.
Oh, really?
With the lead, and we're not talking like 3 points, 2 points. I
big
mean,
comebacks.
These are like
big comebacks.
Big comebacks. We're up 15 in this game.
I think it was 18 in this game. So
it was 45. It was 40-25 with like 4 minutes left, and we lost. And again, it sucks that Derek was the guy to fumble it, but you still had a chance to make up for it and let him make up for it, and we didn't. And we didn't put the ball in his hands.
Yeah. And that's kind of been our bio. I don't understand why they can't just keep sticking to it. The game plan, for the most part, they did with Derek, but he was gashing him. How could you not? How could you not hand? This guy was getting 8 to 12 yards a carry. So, I mean, he was just unbelievable yesterday. I think he had like 169 yards, close to 200 yards, and it's a shame, like you said, that he fumbled. And he took the complete blame in the locker room, I heard, and said, it's all on me.
Yeah.
But that's just a guy that knows he is just disappointed. It was the entire team, And I will say that Bills had tremendous luck in the last 2 or 3 minutes of this game. The ball was just going their way.
Really throughout the game. I mean, the last thing I want to say on Derek, but before we pivot to that, is my thing is like, okay, he fumbled, but it's 4th and 3, right? Mm-hmm. It's either Lamar or Derek at that point. Fake handoff, something, confuse the defense, and get the first.
Yeah.
It's the short yardage like that. It's probably a longer 3, but again, I went on Instagram Live last night, and everybody was saying you had to go for it. Yeah. You had to go for it. And even the commentators, Tirico's going, you got to punt it right here, right? Because if you don't, it's an automatic field goal for Buffalo. And of all people, Collinsworth, who was annoying me the entire game, was saying, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
He said, no, Tirico, you got to go for it and end this game. But hey, it is what it is, but let's pivot to really the Achilles heel of this team, and I was worried about this, is the defense. All the hype, the no-fly zone secondary. Josh Allen, he has 46 dropbacks and only 1 sack. It's just, it's unbelievable. It's inexcusable with the guys that we have on this team, but at the same time, too, I love Kyle Van Noy, but I don't want to see him on the field 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Let's get this Mike Green going. I mean, some of our young guys, too, have just yet to come up and get a sack and make the play. The Oways, Oway had a good year last year, but we don't have the guy. We just have a bunch of guys, Kyle Van Noy, Ajabo, but the defense looked pitiful.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm just sick of them hyping up every year our defense, and we got the number 1 or the number 3 defense in the league. And then when it comes to game time, I don't see it. We don't. The true fans really don't see it. And then at the end of the game, as in this game, the stats proved it. And it's always only the top 2 or 3 players that have all the tackles and sacks, and it's just the same thing every year. Roquan and Kyle Hamilton, Zay Flowers had some tackles even.
Zay's on offense.
I'm sorry, not Zay. I'm sorry. And so it was, and then I was a little disappointed with Mike Green. I was hoping for some very good things from him. And
it is his first game as week 1, but just as a unit.
Yeah,
as a unit, when you got all these names, the Marlon Humphreys of the world, the Roquans, as you said, Matabike. Matabike had the 1 sack, but it's just not consistent, you know? And I was watching Cleveland and Cincinnati, and on one drive late in the game, Garrett had 2 sacks in a row, blowing up the game. Yeah. And that wins you the game, except it's Cleveland, and he misses the extra point and a chip shot. But we don't have a guy like that single-handedly can blow up the game.
Exactly. I totally agree. I don't even know what to say anymore, because you're right. It's a team defense, and we have no star player, no impact player, especially on the edge. Hopefully this Mike Green will come around. I saw one good flash from him yesterday, and then when I look back, he only had 1 tackle. So, yeah,
But when you look at the defense, and I'll eventually get to our corners and secondary, but the tackle, there was a bunch of runs. They gashed us 8 yards here. The little dump off to James Cook, missed the tackle, and then I don't know what Roquan was doing. James Cook is one of the smaller running backs in the league. Roquan's on his back. Was he trying to punch the ball out? I have no idea. And then Cook goes all the way for another 30 yards.
I remember that play. I think he just got juked out, to be honest with you. So,
Roquan was trailing him, and he missed the tackle. It's just that simple as that. I don't know what happened, but he had a shot on him and straight whiffed. So it was very concerning for a defense that was hyped up the way they were. Right. Everybody is killing Jair Alexander late in the game.
That's what I was going to say.
At that point, too, just let Keon Coleman run in the end zone. Now you need time on your side. Yeah. It does you no good at that point. Questionable calls, Jair, I think it was on a crucial 4th down. Pass interference. Josh had nothing. So many plays like that, Josh had nothing, right? And that was when our defense was doing the best in terms of a pursuit, because he had to get out of the pocket and make something happen. We weren't getting the sack, though. But Nate Wiggins got called for a questionable PI after Keon shoves him in the helmet. We don't get the call on Bateman when the guy's pulling him in his shoulder pad.
Yeah.
So, the way the game was going, we missed the opportunity to pick up the fumble early in the game. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to try to butcher his name, but Cheeto, our new pickup on the secondary, can't come up with the interception. right?
Oh, right off the bat. Yeah, I mean, that could have
Well,
really...
no, that was Starks. That was Starks on the first drive,
qu-
but it got
first quarter.
tipped.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
later in the game,
Okay.
Cheeto, who we picked up from Tennessee that was injured most of last year, diving, and I'm thinking he got it. We're all celebrating. No, the ball hit the ground.
Trapped it
you
on
know?
the ground. Yeah,
so
hit
the
it.
way the game was going, that's why I'm saying you had to just end it at the end with fourth.
Yeah.
You know, they were getting all the luck. Josh throws it. It tips off the tight end, and then Keon gets in the back.
Right in his
If he
hand.
doesn't get that, it's game over.
yeah.
That kept them alive, you know? So that's what's so frustrating is the ball wasn't bouncing our way, John.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to just end it after that.
Yeah, and I can't count on our defense to come up with
You
the big
can't.
play. So that's a really good point with the offense. It's looking like it's going to be another year of the offense having to score
To
points.
carry, outscore.
Just having,
and that's embarrassing as a Ravens fan and organization, you know?
But all these corners that are touted as so good, and when it comes game time, you just don't see it. You
don't see it.
You see flashes of it. Okay, you know, I mean, I don't want to be too critical, but you see flashes of it.
Yeah.
But when it really counts, you see the drops, you see the tips. They don't pick up a fumble. This game, there was a fumble and they kicked it out of bounds. You know.
Yeah, we had
and we had
mentioned
two Ravens players around. I can't remember the exact, the players that were around, but those kind of things change the course of a game.
But Dad, what do you always say every year? And that's why I thought maybe it'll be different, with how much they were hyping up the secondary. What do you always say about our corners?
Is that
They're always so far
off.
Yeah, we're always in zone, and so I was thinking maybe they would take some chances in man with how much they were hyping. And let's be honest too. Like I was on FaceTime with my friend last night watching a game, and he brought up a good point. Buffalo doesn't have tremendous weapons.
Yeah.
We're talking Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman, Shakir. I mean, these are not Jamar Chases and T. Higgins of the world, right? If you can't play man with these guys, what are you going to do when you play Jamar and other teams that have threatening receivers like that?
Yeah, because what I've seen yesterday was totally zone. And again,
the whole game.
I'm saying for most of all the game, I can't remember if there was a man-to-man coverage. I think there were a couple. But, like I always say that it's like the teams that have premier defenses on the corners, they go man-to-man.
Yeah.
And they have to take some risks. And then
those risks turn into turnovers.
And then they rely on their edge rushers to put the pressure on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're not helping the corners because we can't get to the quarterback.
Right. All game, really, when I think about it. And that was some of the players said that was going to be the key to beating Josh was containing him in the corner and Van Noy, he got beat so many times with Josh running around that end on his side of the. And I'm like, everybody knows that Josh is going to be running like Lamar on second and third down when it's short most of the time, especially third down. And we could not contain this guy. And he's not. My thing with Josh, he's not as fast as Lamar. He's just big and strong.
But
he's big and strong.
He knows when to run, and when he gets a full speed, he is fast.
Right, and he's
point,
a big guy. So
But also the last thing I want to say on defense is when you're up by double digits, that's the time to kind of take a risk. It's not a tight game. You can afford to jump on a ball, and we still won't. We're still sitting back, just letting them take these 5 yards, these 6 yards, and making it, a third and short. But even the third and longs, they were converting off a pass interference or something.
Yeah.
Even but heading into halftime, Josh had a couple third and longs. And we let it up.
Yeah.
We let it up, and then they ended up with a field goal. So whether it's short or long, it just seems like this defense so far can't come up with the big play.
And my thinking is we had pressure on Josh enough where we drove him out of the pocket.
Yeah.
And that's when most quarterbacks are inaccurate. And in his case, I think it's the corners that let up, or this, it's the safety, Kyle, and
some broken coverage or some
Starks,
miscommunication. I don't know.
It was just, yeah, exactly. And they were just, I don't understand how he could be in such distress and throw a 30-yard pass completed when you have two players around him. Whether it's Starks or Kyle or.
We see the
Humphrey-
same thing with Mahomes doing that.
Yeah.
To other teams and to us.
I think,
So
I wonder what's you can't see film like they do, and I just wonder what is the breakdown in the backfield that allows that to happen so often. I mean, every once in a while I can see, but for our team, it seems like
No
these
matter the
broken plays,
personnel.
these broken plays. That's when you're saying, oh man, I know this is going to be an interception when it goes up in the air, and then they show it, and
it would be so interesting with how football is played now with these, especially with these quarterbacks. I would dare Josh Allen and Mahomes to do that when we had Ed Reed back there.
Yeah.
I mean that stuff just didn't happen back then.
Right.
They would think twice about just chucking it up for the heck of it.
Yeah, starting with Tom
a
Brady
guy-
with Ed Reed,
yeah.
he said, I don't even want to throw it to his side.
Exactly.
I'm looking where he is all the time. So when you're under distress like that, my gosh, how many times does this man complete a pass when he was under distress?
It's I don't want to harp on the past too much, but with McDonald and how good he was for us on defense and letting him walk to become a head coach. It's just it kills me when we're still losing games like this, and John kind of now he's under fire because we have more eyes on us. But me and you've been saying this for years about John, and it's just, to me, it's just disheartening that it's just we're almost accepting that this is who we are as an organization, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Right.
It doesn't have to be like that. I do want to do a quick segment where we highlight a supporter of ours, send in a voice message via Instagram, talk about any topic, a player, a statement about a game, and then we will respond to it. So really quickly, we are going to do that. This is from a supporter of ours by the name of Josh Mitchell.
My comment with this horrible loss we just took is, why is it year in and year out do we continue to lose football games with fumbles? The AFC Championship, Zay Flowers, fumbles on the goal line against the Bills last year in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, crucial fumble. Then after that, Mark Andrews, even more crucial fumble. Then today, home opener, we lose the game because Derrick Henry coughs the ball up. Why can't we hold on to the ball? And why is it constantly that the Ravens, nobody beats the Ravens like the Ravens? Nobody really bears up, beats us. We lose the game and just give it to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Josh, I like that last comment. Nobody beats the Ravens like the Ravens. That is so true.
You've been saying it year in, year out.
And I don't have the answer for you, Josh, but I do say that it goes back to some of the fundamentals too, and the mental capacity to really know what the situation is in the game.
Yeah.
And
late in the game, you got to wrap up two hands on the ball. I mean, it's just...
And Henry in this game said that. He said he got a little lackadaisical,
yeah.
and that's what happened. And you got to know the situation, and he's a veteran, so that should not have happened. And to your point, it doesn't matter if they're a veteran, a rookie, or whatever. We have a lapse in concentration,
focus, and that's I guess what you can attribute that to. But it's just what's weird is that to go over a decade ago, the phenomenal thing about our Super Bowl run was that Flacco had 14 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and we were the ones forcing picks, so we were getting extra possessions on top of that. Now it's the reverse, and we have a more talented team. So to Josh's point, it's mind-boggling how our season has been ending, and we always say turnovers, but really it's just fumbles. It's not really interceptions. I remember Lamar threw it in the Tennessee game, but you think of Huntley at the one and all those times he mentioned, and then last night in the same team in the same stadium, and a fumble killed us.
And I was going to bring up Huntley, and then Zay, he fumbles. So it's not only the running backs, it's the receivers. It's
in the championship.
In the championship game, yeah. So so good point, and they need to clean it up. Bottom line,
they do. And to end this, I don't want to hear, because I was talking about this could, and I blame myself. This could matter when it comes to seeding down the line. Forget about seeding. We were the number 1 seed twice and lost. It doesn't matter. What I want to see is, can this team throughout the rest of the year not make crucial turnovers against the top teams, and
Right.
even not the top teams, because then that creates consistency. And then can you do it when it matters most in the playoffs?
Yeah, and this is a good lesson for our new rookies on the team, that every second counts. Every second, because that's what beat us in the first half and at the end of the game.
Every inch too. When it comes to Simpson sliding, and if that
Yeah.
ball's at the one, it changes the whole game
Yeah.
plan that Buffalo has. It's
Exactly.
those mental things. He had enough. I don't know what he was seeing, but it's things like that. You have enough time to just go up to the ball. The ball was dying out. Touch
Yeah.
it. It's at the one. He comes sliding in. It's just
From
special teams, the
the
defense.
special teams. The new kicker, instead of when he's not doing a fair catch, and he almost gets the ball almost hits him, and that would have really changed
Yeah.
the game in the beginning of the game.
on the punt.
On the
punt.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just, it is week one, but wow, it really shows. This was almost like a playoff loss. That's what it kind of felt like, because you got to be buttoned up against
and-
these teams.
Well, I hope it does sting. I
all
hope
facets.
I hope it really stings in that locker room and on this week's practice, getting ready for Cleveland, so that they see that they blew it. And I hope this really
But
stings
we've
them.
said that before, and they do it again.
We gotta keep hope alive on that
Of
one.
course.
So, the other one thing I wanted to bring up was DeAndre.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge fan, and I couldn't go without this podcast, because I told Brandon when we got him, I said I was just so hyped on him, and Brandon was like, yeah, Dad, but he's getting old, he's not the same. And then all of a sudden, look at that catch. That's the DeAndre that we know,
It was I was, at that point, I was losing my
And saying
mind.
this is the game over. At that
Yeah.
point, I was like, when I saw
That's
that
what
kick, I
sucks
said,
about this.
Yeah, game over.
Think of all the play. Think about the Houdini play Lamar had to get out of the sack, because our
Yeah.
O-line was getting pushed around at various points, and then Derrick Henry busted the next play for the
I know,
touchdown.
a couple times, Lamar got out of that situation.
Yeah.
And then Henry did his thing. What I like to say, Henry just did his thing in my notes. Beast mode. And it's the 1-2 punch. And then Zay had a tremendous game too. I got to give him props.
I mean, there's so many guys that had good games on offense,
But it's always
for
the
nothing.
same guys too. I want other guys to step up. So, Bateman, he was just lost. He caught 1-2 catches and lost. And
I always tell you though, it's only one football and too many mouths to feed. So it's going to be impossible to have Bateman, Zay, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews to all have a tremendous game in one game.
But I will say on that note,
It's just impossible.
The greats will spread the ball around. Brady was really good with that, with having 2 or 3 different receivers and some tight ends with 3 or 4 catches each. That was his forte, actually.
But
right?
I just think we have too many guys now. I mean, even Likely, and he was out.
He was out.
Keaton Mitchell is a healthy scratch. I mean, you're talking about so much talent.
Yeah.
It's like it's overwhelming at some point,
Well, that's what hurts so bad, because we have the talent on paper. Now they got to make it come to fruition,
Yeah.
But I just had to bring that up, Brandon, with DeAndre, because I love that guy, man.
Yeah, it was a tremendous catch. But that wraps up this episode. I don't have anything else to say. It stings like you know what, but we got to move on. Home opener against Cleveland. We will be at that game. So that's exciting, and now it puts more pressure after this loss. That's a must-win game now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ironically, we were talking about that before the season. If you lose against Buffalo, the game that we're ironically going to is going to mean so much more, and it's a division game.
Yep.
Our only one until like November, I think. It's something
Exactly.
crazy like that.
All social media said, if you lose against the Bills, you got to win against the Browns.
You
No
can't
doubt.
mess. You can't dilly
go
dally and mess
0-2.
around like Cincinnati was, and they scathed out of that with a win that they shouldn't have. So we got to just come out and put up 40, just like we did. If you put up 40 on Buffalo, you should be able to do it against Cleveland.
What I want to
my
see
opinion.
is total aggression all game long. I don't want to see any complacency and feel. I want touchdowns versus field goals. I want to go for it on 4th down. I really do. We have to be aggressive. It's a division game, and we must win this game.
Us win. All eyes are going to be on the defense, Zach Orr and John Harbaugh. So we shall see. But thank you again for tuning in. First episode of the new season, another season of Ravens Flock Talk. And we're off and running, baby. We're off and running. They wasted no time to introduce the new season to us. So thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next week.